Hello, everyone. My name is Ian Hitchcock. I am an organizer with the Vermont Natural Resources Council. I do a lot of work with local energy committees through the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network, and we are thrilled to be co-hosting this webinar called Just Weatherize It, talking about resources to help local energy committees engage in helping communities in the Northeast Kingdom save money and energy through weatherization work. I wanted to go through a few technical notes on the webinar platform before we get started with the bulk of the presentation. There is a chat bar that allows folks to type in questions. So as presentations are going along, I would encourage folks to type their questions into this chat bar, and I have just sent a message to it so folks can see where that is. And at the end of the presentation, we will answer those questions and present them to the organizers so that you can get your questions answered. Thank you so much for joining it. And at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Alison from the Northeast Kingdom.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you could join us today. This is the first time NVDA has gotten involved in webinars. Is my screen showing, by the way?
Looks like we're waiting to view it, Alison.
Here.
So if you, there should be, there we go, we've got it.
Oh, perfect. So anyways, this is just the title screen. Just for people who are unfamiliar with NVDA, we are the Regional Planning Commission and the Regional Development Corporation, and we serve 50 towns in the Northeast Kingdom. We probably have about a dozen local energy committees. Most of them have been formed in the past year or two. So in addition to providing planning and zoning assistance, we're trying to find ways to help those new energy committees get up and running, and trying to provide the technical assistance and training that they're interested in, such as today's webinar. At the end of this, I am going to send out a brief survey just to find out what other information needs you might have. And I would really appreciate it if you complete the survey. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to identify yourself, if you don't want to, but we would like to find out what your other training needs are. So what you're going to learn today, a little bit of the regional context about our energy use goals for the year 2050. But then we're also going to learn more about the heat squad approach to achieving energy efficiency. And in that, we're going to learn a couple of affordable options for paying for weatherization projects. And then Ian is going to step in at the end and provide some guidance on how the Energy Committee can be a catalyst for all of these actions. So today's speaker is Melanie Paskevich, and she is the Heat Squad Program Director and has been since 2010. She advocates for homeowners, working closely with Heat Squad's program assistants, energy auditors, outreach and marketing teams. She also helps homeowners simplify the energy improvement process because she coordinates the local contractors, the town energy committees and organizations and utilities. In 2015, she launched Appalachia Heat Squad in Kentucky. She has about 30 years of experience in architectural and construction field, has a thorough knowledge of the building envelope and the science and technology of energy efficiency, and she holds a Master of Architecture degree. Also in the audience with us is Lawless, and she is somebody that you're going to be seeing more frequently in the Northeast Kingdom because she just joined Heat Squad. She's been a longtime resident of the Northeast Kingdom, but she will be going out there meeting with local energy committees and trying to find ways to help them help their neighbors and make their homes more comfortable and affordable. And then finally, Ian Hitchcock, who you just heard from, the community organizer for Vermont Natural Resources Council. He served for a year as VNRC's AmeriCorps member and Community Energy and Climate Action Coordinator, and he's helped to start and strengthen town energy committees across the state. As an organizer, he works to educate the public on our environmental campaigns and helps coordinate the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network That's VECAN, providing support for local energy work across Vermont. So to provide a little bit of regional perspective, this is what our existing energy use looks like right now. So you can see our biggest share is transportation, almost 40%, but residential heating, and that space, heating the space and water, is a close second. So if we're going to meet our overall goal of meeting 90% of our energy needs with the use of renewables by the year 2050, we're certainly going to have to reduce our overall energy use in order to get there. And weatherization is certainly an important part of any strategy. This gives you an idea of what residential heating might look like in the year 2050. And I think what's really important to focus on here in this webinar is that ever-growing white box called avoidance. That's the energy that we don't use in the future, mostly because of weatherization and by fuel switching to more efficient heating sources, such as open source heat pumps. These are our lofty energy goals for weatherization in the Northeast Kingdom. By the year 2050, we'd like to see 60% of our homes weatherized. We have an unusual challenge here in our region in that we have a disproportionately higher share of older building stock. Many of our homes were built before 1939, so they might be leaky or drafty. So this is a tall order. And that's where Heat Squad comes in. So I'm going to turn it over to Melanie.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction. I am just switching things over to Melanie as we speak.
All right. Can everybody see my screen there? Does it look good?
I can see it.
We're in good shape.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Great. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Melanie Paskevich. I'm the program director here at NeighborWorks of Western Vermont, and I'll explain in a second who we are and what that means. But yeah, I'm here to talk about our Heat Squad program and a little bit about NeighborWorks of Western Vermont, which, yes, as our name says, we are down in Addison, Rutland, and Bennington County. That's our core service area, but we're Heat Squad is actually in 8 counties in Vermont, and NeighborWorks of Western Vermont in general, we're a nonprofit housing organization. We've been here, I think we're pushing 35 years now. All about one-stop shop, all about customer service, and all about we're all things home. So it's about homeowners' needs, from homebuyer education to financial counseling to do you need help buying or selling your home? So we have a realty division. We have great lending program here with different lending products. We have down payment assistance, which is statewide. We have an energy loan, which is statewide. And then we have home repair loans, which are down in the southern part. But we also work with our sister organization, which is called Rural Edge, up in your neck of the woods. And they do home repair loans as well. So we do kind of work with them. Heat Squad works with them up there. And then we have our Heat Squad program, and we're part of the national NeighborWorks America network, which is across the U.S. and Puerto Rico. So again, it's all about home ownership. It's all about sustainable, affordable home ownership, and really being customer focused and hand-holding. And so Heat Squad, we've been around since 2010. We started with a grant from Department of Energy. And in essence, the Heat Squad's here to support and like I said, that hand-holding and help people to improve the efficiency of homes or small businesses, regardless of income. And we offer many different things, from a reduced energy audit cost, which in the Northeast Kingdom is $100. Market value up there is sometimes $350 to $500 for an energy audit. We believe that's a hard barrier, so we lowered that rate from the get-go, so it's $100. And we produce an energy audit report, if not that day, the next day, which is also pretty unique for us. We have great software, and we're objective. We do not do the work, but we will objectively help you to decipher, what's going on in your home, and how can we help you to get to that energy efficiency goal that you're hoping to get to. We help with contractors that are local in the Northeast Kingdom, and like I said, we have a statewide energy loan, which I'll talk about too. So again, we're actually in 5 counties, so Northeast Kingdom, and then the southern part, we're Addison, Rutland, Bennington, Windham, and Windsor, and we're actually a little bit in Eastern Kentucky. So we're pushing 5,000 audits now and about 1,800 projects, completed efficiency projects. And we work with great partners, and energy committees and energy champions are our number one partner. I shouldn't say that, we're all number one, but really it's integral to the program to work with energy committees and energy champions to help get the word out about Heat Squad and about energy efficiency. So I'll talk about that too. So again, you guys probably are aware, but just wanted to go over what an energy audit is. For the Heat Squad, we're there about 3 hours, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And that picture, that's Sally. She's our energy auditor up in the Northeast Kingdom. And she's setting up the blower door. She does infrared depending on weather. Of course, we're getting in warmer temperatures, so we can't always do that. We're looking for health and safety, so mold and mildew, water infiltration. We're looking for carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors, and we're looking top to bottom, so attic, basement, inside, outside, and looking at energy bills, and then we do generate that audit report, if not that day, the next day. And this is one kind of piece of our energy audit report. And we show you, there's kind of executive summary, and then we break it down into each of the different elements. But in essence, we're showing the customers, all right, this is what we found. This is where your house is currently performing. This is what we found. This is what we recommend to improve it, and we help to prioritize. Here's a rough cost estimate for this work. And then this is roughly for each measure and overall what you're going to save in energy savings on an annual basis. And then what do you get back from Efficiency Vermont at the end of the project, which right now is up to $2,000 with a bonus $500 if you income qualify. So, we're helping people with all those, questions, and helping to answer all those questions with our audit report and the audit itself. And we can help with we can put anything into this modeling software. So solar, heat pumps, heat pump hot water heater, a new heating system, fuel switching to some degree, but we really, appliances, lighting, we can put that all in there and really show a customer, boy, this is what you can save in energy savings, carbon reduction, and then look, this is what you get back from the state at the end of the project. So it just kind of wraps it all up. And it's a nice visual tool for the customers as well. And we're the only one in the state currently that's using this particular software. And then we really go over with the customers that comprehensive energy path. We cut down on your energy load, which then lowers everything kind of going forward. So let's really address your thermal efficiency needs. So let's look at that insulation and air sealing. And we generally are focusing on attic and basement, sometimes sidewalls, but really the best bang for your buck is that attic and basement to really seal and cap that, the flow of air, which is pulling that warm air out and going out at the top, at the bottom and going out the top. So let's cap that top and bottom. So that's what we focus on. Attic hatches, basement doors, sometimes windows, but not really. So then, let's really tighten up. Let's save on energy. Let's make you more comfortable. Let's make you healthier and safe. And then let's add on, maybe you want to do a pellet boiler. Maybe you want to do those heat pumps or the heat pump hot water heaters. Let's talk about, these more efficient, renewable components. And then, let's really talk about renewables. Let's get you thinking about solar. So start with thermal and then add on those other components and then solar. So we like to talk about that with customers and help them through that path because we can help them with each of those steps. And again, we help at every step. So we help with the audit, so we help with that education, with the knowledge to define a work scope. Then we help to get contractors involved, local contractors. So we facilitate that connection. We bring those contractors in. They're vetted contractors, could be Efficiency Vermont or other contractors, but we vet them and they participate with our program. And then we can review estimates, boy, I don't know what, Joe had on here. Let me call Joe and see. That price doesn't look quite right. What's going on here? And then we help, again, to kind of hone that scope of work, refine that scope of work. And then when the work, and we can help, question answers throughout the process of the work. And then at the end of the job, we do 100% quality review, objective quality review. So we're going to come out and we're going to make sure at the end of the job, okay, everything looks great. It's to code. It's Efficiency Vermont guidelines. Go ahead and pay your contractor. And then we're going to help you get those rebates from Efficiency Vermont. So we submit the paperwork for the customer, and then Efficiency Vermont sends that check, which, like I said before, it's up to $2,000 plus the bonus $500 if they income qualify. And that's for the portion of this year, and then they're going to be changing up rebates. And I think it's actually going to get a little bit better for lower income folks, and middle income folks, which is pretty exciting. And this bonus $500 is for middle income folks as well. So it's a great time to do the work right now. But again, we're really checking to see, is this what you paid for? Is this, are you happy with the work, customer? If not, we're going to help bring that contractor back, or we're going to see what's going on. Or if the customer sometimes are like, hey, I think I want to do more work, so we can help get more contractors in, or help talk about more work if needed. But again, it's helping from beginning, middle, and end all the way through. So this is, I wanted to talk a little bit, I know VSECU couldn't be on the call today, but the Heat Saver loan, which maybe some of you are aware of, the form on the left is the Heat Saver loan application, and that's a statewide energy loan. It is for low to moderate income customers. It actually can be all incomes, but you get the lower interest rate with the low to moderate. It's available at VSECU, Opportunities Credit Union, and NeighborWorks of Western Vermont. And it does go by household income and term of the loan. So lower income, lower the loan term, the lower potentially your interest rate, which, as this chart, can go anywhere from 0% up to 6. This one's 6.49. So it's a little different based on the agency. Some of the interest rates are just a little bit different, but this can be for, it cannot be for renewables, but it can be for home repairs, health and safety repairs, along with insulation and air sealing and heat pump hot water heater equipment. So you can kind of roll this all into this loan and get this basically a lower interest rate, again, depending on your loan term and depending on your household income. You could get a really pretty nice interest rate, which is, got a lot of people to move. So this is a great thing that actually Efficiency Vermont's offering and partnering with these 3 institutions. Again, we are one of them. Our interest rates are a little different. Our top interest rate is actually 5.7. So each of the lending institutions has it a little different, but we do have the lower interest rate tiers, the same as the other institutions. It's more when you get to the higher income, the interest rates change a little bit based on where you go. But again, in essence, just know that there is an energy loan available. All incomes, it's available, but if you're low to moderate, you could look at a pretty good lower interest rate, 1.99, 2.99, again, it depends. Which really sweetens the deal, and you get the rebates from Efficiency Vermont. So just know that that's available for customers, and NeighborWorks of Western Vermont is one institution that offers that. We all have a quick turnaround. We're 24 to 48 hours. We're going to tell people, hey, you pre-qualify, and the form on the right is our pre-qualification form. And again, customers fill that out, and we can let them know in 24 to 48 hours if they qualify and what their interest rate's looking like. And then we can do it all remotely. We don't have to meet in person. And again, this is statewide, all incomes, energy loan, which is, again, great because people can do other home repairs as well, roofing, siding, those windows, those doors, along with weatherization as well. And then if you did want to do renewables, you can use our regular energy loan, which is 5.7, but you can't use the interest rate buy down. So just know that that's available and that's there. And it's really easy and really simple. I've actually had people that worked at other banks take out our loan, which I think is kind of interesting. Just because it's so easy, you could fill it out right at the audit, start the process. The auditors can help with Sally can help with the process, but super simple, super easy to do. So again, we all know this. I just want to kind of go over it too. Why do we do this? What's the advantages of doing, energy efficiency improvements to homes or small businesses? Obviously, we're lowering those heating and cooling costs year round, improving the comfort. I hear that all the time. People come into the program, when we do surveys, why? Oh, I want to lower my bills. But then on the output, when we survey them after the work's done, great. Why did you move forward and do, or how's it going? And I don't hear I lowered my energy bills. They do tell me that, but the first thing they say is, boy, the house is so much more comfortable. I hear it again and again and again. Warm in the winter, cool in the summer, which is great. We also address those health and safety issues, which is vitally important. We've had customers, come back and tell the auditors, boy, I have headaches all the time, and we found they have a gas leak, and we opened the windows, got them out of the house, and called their fuel company and had them come out and fix that. So I know we're helping people to save money and helping the environment, but we're also helping people with their health and safety issues. Kids with asthma or anybody with asthma or breathing issues in the house, and you've got mold in your basement, you have standing water in your basement, we've got to deal with this to lower those triggers for breathing and asthma triggers. And of course, this is all increasing the value of the building, and you get the cash rebate or the incentive back at the end of the job. All good stuff and reasons why we should do this. Again, just want to talk a little bit about the health and safety a little bit more. We have a unique program with our hospital down here, but I know Efficiency Vermont's working up there with the regional hospital in the Northeast Kingdom along the lines of this health and safety with weatherization as well. So again, we're lowering, once we can seal up those cracks and holes and crevices, we're lowering the incidence of rodents and pests. And actually, the feces from mice is a terrible irritant for people with breathing issues. So if we could keep those pests out, again, we're making it healthier and safer. It's quieter inside, getting rid of the moisture and mildew. That's number one. If we have any water issues, number one is get the water out, and then we insulate and air seal. The worst thing is to do that when you still have standing water in your basement because you're just making the issue much, much worse. And we're looking for carbon monoxide issues, gas leaks, which we find more than you think, and we address those obviously first and foremost. And then sometimes we find houses that are a little too tight. We're finding that it's called the building tightness limit. And when we do that energy audit, we find that limit and we tell people, boy, you're a little below it, so let's get some makeup air in here. Or you're really below it, we've got to get some equipment in here. Or you're above that building tightness limit, so we're going to do this work and we're going to get you to this point, not below that limit, but we're going to get you right to that limit. So houses still need to breathe, but let's control where that air is coming in, and let's make sure it's healthy and coming from the right spot. Because a lot of houses, the air that's coming through your house is that wet, moldy air coming from your basement that's got a dirt floor, and you're not controlling the air flow that is coming into the home. So we really got to work on that. So again, we really working on providing healthier, safer homes for people with doing this weatherization work, which has all sorts of benefits. But I just want to make sure everyone's clued into the health piece because it's becoming more and more. And I know I've been around the country talking about it because we have this unique program where the hospital actually pays us to fix up patients' homes. But, we see it again and again, these asthma triggers and COPD triggers that, boy, let's get this out of here and make you healthier so you can go to work more, so your kids can go to school, and you just feel better. And lower healthcare costs, which is good. We talk about protecting people's investments, right? If we can, ice dams and icicles, right? That's a lot of the reasons is air leakage. And it's melting your snow, goes down to the eave, freezes, starts backing up. Now you got water into the house. So let's protect your investment. Let's stop that air leakage and stop those ice dams. Let's eliminate that moisture from getting in your basement. Boy, close-cell foam, that could really keep out a lot of moisture. And when we do maybe some outside drainage or inside drainage, again, keeping that moisture out, which is protecting your foundation, which is protecting your investment. So we're protecting the structure, longevity, lower maintenance, and ultimately increasing the value of the home. So we'd like to talk about that too. as part of what we do. And then we're supporting the community, right? We're job creation. We're giving local jobs to local contractors, and that's empowerment. And we're supporting the local economy. If I can help you save money on your energy bills, that goes back into your local economy versus overseas. So let's support the community by doing this great work that we all believe in. So we do talk to our customers, about that too, because that's important. And what I also want to talk about, which is really important, is driving demand for this, right? So we've got to start and get people educated and drive that demand to get people to call us for, energy audits and energy efficiency. So working with local energy committees, like I said, is so key to all this. And there's some great committees out there and great energy champions. I know we've worked with Ian, you guys, and obviously Alison, you guys are working with some great energy committees, and some great energy committees are forming, which is so awesome, because that's what it really takes, is boots on the ground. And like I say at the bottom here, that trusted source messengers. When people hear about, I use the term Sally all the time, but when they hear Sally, who lives in the community, talk about, boy, my house is so much warmer now. I don't have mice. I don't have cluster flies anymore. It's quieter. When they hear that from Sally, who's there, maybe she delivers their mail or she works at the local store, that's trusted source messaging. And boy, that's what works. That's what gets people to move. Most of my customers that come in, it's word of mouth. So how do we do that? We got to get boots on the ground. We got to get in the community, grassroots efforts. And committees are so wonderful for that, because you guys, committees have the pulse on the community. So we work with as much as we can with the committees, organizing over the years. We've done phone-a-thons, groups calling groups, or just groups calling their neighbors and their friends in town. Energy parties. Somebody's done a great weatherization job on their house. Let's bring your friends over and let's have a party and talk about it, like Tupperware party, but energy party. Competitions, town-to-town competitions are great. Working with employers is a wonderful way to get the word out there too. Fuel dealers, believe it or not, are a great source to get the word out there. The utility companies are also great. But really engaging with town officials, church groups, civic groups, and energy committees, it's really great. And what I liked when I can talk to an energy committee, all it really is if you can help us get the word out there about Heat Squad, call Heat Squad. We can help people basically through the whole process. Just have people give us a call, and we can take them through to the end. But in any way that Heat Squad, we can work with a committee. I've done many different things over the years. We did door-to-door. We've done lawn sign kind of competitions, or we just had a week where we put lawn signs on every house that did weatherization within that town, and it got people calling. We've done bill stuffers, so I'm open, and Anne, who you saw her picture there, is more than open to talking to any groups and any initiatives that people, groups might want to do. We'll gladly be part of that. And it really, like I said, it takes the trusted source messaging and those people in towns to really help get the word out. And so any way we can do that, we're completely all about and looking forward to further connecting. And then contractors. Contractors are a huge component of what we do. They're an integral partner, and we couldn't do this work without them, and homeowners couldn't obviously get it done without them. So we really value our contractors that we work with, and like I said, they're vetted, they're trusted, and we know they do good work. And customer service is key to what we like to see in a contractor. If they call those customers back in a timely manner and, just have that professionalism, you're on our list and you do good work. So successful program is engaged and trained workforce and successful contractors. We can't have one without the other. So we listen to them, we respond to them. Sally meets with them for lunch and connects with the contractors. How's it going? What's going on? And, we've see at the bottom, we actually in the beginning started three businesses. We actually got started, but we've created jobs, job creation, local economy. It's all very important to Heat Squad, and what we're doing here. We're all in this together, and they're just an integral part. So I just want to make everybody aware that we really value the contractors and work with them quite a bit to keep them successful, because like I said, that makes everyone successful. Win-win-win for everybody. So that's what I have. But again, I just want to say again how important the energy committees really are to all of this. And if there's anything we can do together, totally open to that. But we just help people, like I said, through every step of the process. And no question's a crazy question. No call will not be answered. We do respond pretty quickly. Customer service is what we're all about, and hand-holding. And whatever you need, we're going to help you get. If you need an electrician, you need a plumber, you need to remediate some vermiculite, we can help with all of that. So strong hand-holding, but we're objective too. We're about the homeowner's needs, and we will prioritize the work based on what the homeowner needs to do to get them to that end goal. But yeah, that's what I have. So hopefully people have lots of questions.
Thank you so much, Melanie. We're going to switch gears here, and I will just have a couple of slides to talk about, trying to put some of this work in a little bit of the broader context, underscore how important weatherization work and kind of reducing demand for fossil fuels in the thermal sector is, as well as the ways that it can help people save energy and money. I do just want to start by saying that you all up in the Northeast Kingdom are very lucky to be able to access NeighborWorks as a resource. We've heard from folks who've worked with them in the past and found them to be a very helpful resource in trying to lower some of the barriers to helping people make their homes tighter and more comfortable. So I would strongly encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity you have there to partner with them, and also help get the word out to your friends and neighbors about what they can do, and what resources like NeighborWorks and others can help them do to be warmer, save money, and be more secure and comfortable in their homes. So I just wanted to start again briefly by letting folks know about kind of what VECAN is and the role we play in this work. VECAN, again, stands for the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network, and we serve as a network of volunteer town energy committees across the state, and are very excited to have some new committees coming online up in the Northeast Kingdom, and we're really excited to partner with and work with you guys. Part of what we try to do is kind of education around energy and climate issues, and so that's what these next couple of slides are about. Just briefly, unfortunately, our current trajectory is one that we are increasing greenhouse gases and not bringing them down. Vermont has aggressive greenhouse gas reduction goals of trying to get to 90% renewable energy by 2050. And importantly, that total energy mix isn't just about electricity, but it includes heating and transportation as well, which is part of why we're focusing this webinar on thermal efficiency, because that's an important part of the curve. But what this graph shows me, and this is pulled from research put together by a group called the Energy Action Network, is that we have far more work to do if we're going to come anywhere close to meeting our own energy and climate commitments and trying to do our part to reduce the impacts of climate change. And a significant portion of the work that we're doing comes from the thermal sector. So this graph is from EAN's latest annual report, and I tried to focus just on the thermal section here. And what it says, if we were to meet the commitments that Vermont said it signed onto with the Global Paris Climate Accord, which, as you may know, the Trump administration pulled the United States out of, we would need to add roughly 90,000 heat pumps, 25,000 advanced wood heat systems, retrofit an additional 90,000 homes, and add a lot more, about 90,000 hot water heaters, just to meet our ongoing obligations. So those are big numbers, and there's a lot to do. But these numbers start with community outreach and kind of meeting people where they are and trying to understand kind of what are the opportunities to, do work to reduce the use of fossil fuels in heat buildings, but more importantly, above and beyond the climate considerations, which are very important, thinking about how can we help people save money so they're not literally throwing their hard-earned dollars out the window because they're living in a leaky, inefficient home. Wanted to highlight some of the existing resources that folks at the Northeast Kingdom have. At the last forum we helped organize with Alison and others at NVDA, we featured folks from Craftsbury and Glover, and apologies for the poor photo quality here, but that was a photo of Ned Houston presenting about the work that the Craftsbury Energy Committee has done. And I put this slide in just to encourage folks to think about some of those, kind of energy committees that have been established and active for years, and in this region, Craftsbury and Glover definitely stand out as resources, as you are out in your communities, thinking about what projects you want to take part in. These are communities that have been at this work for a long time, and so for newer energy committees, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use kind of the existing resources and know-how of community leaders to craft your own campaigns and think about kind of what kind of work you want to do in your own communities. You may have seen some information about the window dresser project that was presented by Jack Sundberg at this event, basically trying to help folks create not quite storm windows, but basically layers of plastic that help kind of provide an extra layer of insulation in windows and can help reduce loss of heat through windows there. We're going to be working with folks from that community to host another webinar focused specifically on how to run a successful window dresser campaign, and that's going to be taking place on July 30th at noon this year. So stay tuned for that if that's something you're interested in. And I also wanted to mention that you can find the contact information for energy committees in your region up at our website, www.VECAN.net. So when you're thinking about how to partner with these folks and how to get in touch with them, that's one way to do it. And if you need any kind of help or support with that, you can also reach out to me as well. I'm happy to help make some of those connections. Another thing I wanted to flag for folks as an opportunity coming up is the annual Button Up Vermont campaign. This is a campaign that is run largely through Efficiency Vermont with partner organizations such as the NRC and others that are really focused on kind of community engagement around how can we help people think about, with winter coming, how do you button up your home so that you are warm, secure, and comfortable? And we're not entirely sure yet we're in the planning stages of this year's campaign, but last year there were two kind of button up tiers of engagement. One was the general Button Up Vermont campaign that encouraged residents to weatherize their homes, where folks had kind of community events, did tabling at fairs, handed out resources and stuff like that. And then there was another model that was called kind of based on the Weatherize Upper Valley campaign, where communities would hold events with contractors in the area who were engaged in this work. And if people filled out a survey about kind of their home energy use and just kind of general characteristics of their home, these contractors would sign up for a kind of a free energy walkthrough. So not the full energy assessment that you would get through other programs, but just a way of getting some eyes and ideas on what weatherization work could be done and where there were areas for improvement. So that was a campaign that was pretty successful. So last year, 37 communities participated, and there were an estimated almost 700 contractors across the state visited homes that hadn't visited them before. So just kind of another way of helping get the word out. And with the Button Up campaign comes kind of support and resources from Efficiency Vermont, whether it's buying advertisements in the local paper or providing informational materials, just trying to make sure the community groups have all the tools they need to successfully get the word out about the importance of weatherization and how people can save money and energy from it. So again, we're just kind of in the planning stages of what this will look like, but do stay tuned for more information about what the Button Up Vermont campaign will look like this year. That is what I have to present. At this point, I think I'd love to open it up to folks to ask questions. As you can see, there's a couple that have come in on the chat bar, and which I will go ahead and put to our presenters now. So, first question, someone had a question about just kind of a term that was used. What is electric resistance?
Oh, I think that was from my presentation. Electric resistance is the old-fashioned kind of electric baseboards that are used to heat homes. And as you know, anything that produces heat generally takes a lot of electricity, but the technology that's used in heat pumps is very different, so it doesn't use as much electricity to generate heat.
Got it. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
I think it does. We'll let folks kind of type into the chat if they feel their questions are being answered or not. And please again do feel free to take advantage of the time you've got here with some experts to ask some questions about anything involved with weatherization, and we will do our best to either answer, or if we can't answer, loop back to you with more information. This question I think referred directly to the heat saver loan. So maybe Melanie will direct this toward you. On the loan page, what does it mean that the loan cannot be for renewables?
Yeah, the heat saver loan, you're not able to do solar PV or solar hot water. You can do solar hot water. You can't do solar PVs with the heat saver loan. That's just a caveat with the financing. Our energy loan for NeighborWorks Western Vermont, you can use it for solar PV, but you don't get the interest rate buy down, so you don't get the lower interest rates for that. So the heat saver loan, no solar PV.
Got it. And just a note for participants, those of us who helped organize this webinar will huddle afterwards and make sure that we send out a follow-up email, not only with a link to the recording to the webinar, but also highlighting some of the key compiled resources with things like the link to the heat saver loan program, so you don't have to go out and frantically Google to try to figure out where to find some of the resources we're talking about. We have another question here, I think regarding to kind of how to access Heat Squad services. It's essentially, what are the costs that Heat Squad charges?
Yep. So we have the $100 energy audit, which is that front, the energy audit costs. And then there really aren't any. I mean, if a customer chooses to use Heat Squad to help them through the process, which is basically getting contractors and through that piece of it, we do charge a fee for that management coordination of the project. And then we do the test out for free at the back end. So that's all. That really is our cost. We do have a grant that got us started in the Northeast Kingdom. I should have mentioned this before. Northern Borders Regional Commission was a grant that was able to let us expand into the Northeast Kingdom. And so that's lowered, our costs to get started and get rolling up there. So hopefully that answered your question. If not, text in the box or let us know.
Sounds good. I know you touched on this a little bit, Melanie, but do you have is there a specific example of like a community campaign that you worked on with an energy committee that you felt was kind of really successful that you could walk us through that might serve as a model for other folks thinking about this work?
Yeah, it's a hard one, right? Because I think a lot of different things work. Believe it or not, phone-a-thons actually, I know it's kind of a pain, but they actually worked really, really well. And the lawn sign. So the phone-a-thon, basically we worked with, it was the energy committee. I've worked with the energy committee. I've also worked with it wasn't a soccer club, but it was like a league, some sporting league. The parents came in, and basically it wasn't, you called people you knew. It wasn't that you called people you didn't know. So the phone-a-thon was basically friend to friend. It was like, hey, just calling, I'm Jimmy, whatever, we know each other. So, it's trust source messaging. So the Heat Squad's a great program. You should really do it. And then here's their phone number. And sometimes we'd have staff right there that we would actually, if they wanted to, we could then turn, hand the phone off to a Heat Squad person, and we actually signed them up for an audit right there at that phone-a-thon event. So there's different ways we can do that. And then the lawn sign campaign, that worked really well. We took a town, we took a week, we found all the houses that we had touched on, or there were just people that maybe had an audit and hadn't done work, or was just a believer in Heat Squad. So we put a lawn sign, and then we did a little, I think, ad in the local, town newsletter and said, hey, did you see the lawn signs? This is what it's about, blah, 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 blah. That worked too. But really it's going to the transfer station or the dump and, having a table and talking to people. It's, being at events. Town meeting days are great to talk about energy efficiency and Heat Squad. So it's really those, I don't know if that answers your question, Ian, but it's a lot of different things. But I think if there's a way, or a table at your town has, concerts on the green, once a month, and, we could have a table there with somebody from the committee, or if there's any tabling event, and more than willing, signing in up, but more than willing to be there as well, to talk about Heat Squad with people that come to the table, or we could have our brochures and literature. We have lots of that too. We can give out to any of the committees. But yeah, I think it's all of the above, really, because people, you got to hit people where they are, and people are just at different places, really.
We've got another question here. Are there any organizations giving more financial assistance for low-income people for weatherization beyond rebates and loans? I can start with this. Vermont operates what's called kind of the low-income weatherization program, and that's run by the capstone, or rather the community action agencies in various regions. And that program provides for qualifying individuals, it can be up to no cost, free weatherization services if people are eligible. One of the troubles with the program as currently structured is that it doesn't really have enough resources to meet the need. With Vermont having the second oldest housing stock in the country, as we well know, there are a lot of old leaking houses there, and a lot more people that could qualify for that service than they have the resources to provide at the moment. So unfortunately, there's a rather lengthy waiting list from once someone signs on to that program before they may be able to actually receive some of the weatherization services. And so that is something that kind of VNRC has been pushing for more resources towards for a while, given that. Anyone else on the webinar aware of any other organizations giving kind of more financial assistance for low-income weatherization above and beyond the rebates and loans that we've discussed?
There's also Cover, which I know we talked about but didn't, and I don't know too much about. Ian, do you know Cover? I know it's
so I reached out. So Cover Home Repair is an organization up in the Upper Valley of Vermont, based out of White River Junction, that also does some low-income weatherization work. They don't necessarily do as comprehensive a job as folks, but they are really good at kind of providing some of the initial services to help reduce someone's energy use. When I reached out to them, they said that their service area was limited to within kind of 45 minutes or so, White River Junction. So I think unfortunately that would exclude much of the area that folks on this call are from.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay.
It is, yeah, but. But there are, I will say that, as Melanie touched on, as I'm sure folks could explore more, the Heat Saver loan program, offered by the Vermont State Employees Credit Union, really does try to be as low cost as possible. I know that loans can sometimes be a scary and difficult thing to take out, but I know that the program in particular is aimed at making it as accessible as possible. So trying to make sure that people have the financial resources to actually get the work done.
And there's also, Rural Edge, which is a housing agency like NeighborWorks Western Vermont, which is Rural Edge Services in Northeast Kingdom. They do have, it's a home repair program, but efficiency can be part of it, and they have really good lending products. I can't speak to grants or not, but I do know they have a very robust program and can help people to fix up their homes, lower income, but weatherization can be part of it too. So, and they're always looking for applicants. And if anybody needs contact up there, I can definitely, and that could be part of the resources maybe too, Ian.
Yep.
But the Northeast, or sorry, Rural Edge, I think can help a demographic that definitely needs help, and they have extra things they can help with. So I think that should be a resource. And then NEDO is the low income free weatherization program up in the Northeast Kingdom. And yes, I know they need more funding. We all need more funding. But that's a resource too for free weatherization for low income up there as well. So that'll be a resource we should obviously also add to when we send that on.
Absolutely. Yep. Another comment here. I wonder about looking at the overall economic benefit of an integrated strategy. For example, PVs versus plus EV. So that's kind of, I believe, solar power plus an electric vehicle is a very beneficial combination for folks. And avoided costs could be applied to the PV installation. This will substantially shorten the time to break even. So I think that is a good point as well. Thinking about how, if folks are in a place where they can, make some of these changes, thinking about how to do kind of as much as possible, and how different components like, installing, solar on your roof, which can help power an electric vehicle, that could be a very useful combination for folks. And I take the comment well. Any other comments from folks? Okay. Moving on. Someone noting that they are excited to be seeing Ann Lawless, that Heat Squad Northeast Kingdom outreach coordinator, who we've been referring to and who is on the line with us, coming to the Peachmont Vermont Electric Vehicle Expo this Thursday from 4 to 7. So I'll also put a plug in for folks if they're in the Peachmont area to go check out that EV Expo as well and meet some of these folks in person. Another question here is, what happens if you can't do all the work in one season? Is there any follow through for the next year?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's where we I think excel at is to help people prioritize and then phase the work. So absolutely. So myself, I did my basement one year, I got rebates, and then I came back the next year and I got my attic done and I got rebates for that. So we can absolutely help with that. And if that's what people need to do, I think that's totally fine. And that's where when you have somebody that's objectively, helping a customer versus a contractor, they're going to want to do the they'll do whatever, but, they're going to present the $15,000 project, which is your attic and your basement or whatever the price is, right? I just gave a number, but that, let's say $8,000 job, which is attic and basement, boy, I can only afford the $4,000 basement now. Where when we're involved, I think it's easier for customers to say to us, boy, I can't do the 8, but I'd like to do the 4 now. That's great. That's fine. Let's do that. And so we can communicate that with the contractor and get that going. And then we can help test out that the basement job. And then next year when you're ready, give us a call back and let's, we might have to get another price then. Pricing do change depending. So great. Did you like that contractor? Great. Let's bring him back and let's help or her. And let's get a price for the attic work. And then let's get you the incentives for the attic work. Households are capped at $2,000, but you can come at that $2,000 as many times as you want to get the incentives. There are certain thresholds you have to meet. You have to meet at least a 10% air reduction to start incentives the first time, and then you just kind of keep layering on, how much reduction you do in your air sealing and how much insulation you add. But yeah, we have a lot of customers that do it over several years actually. And then I've had customers come back and they've done their attic, their basement. Hey, Melanie, now I'd like to do heat pumps. Great. Let's get you a plumber to do those heat pumps. Great. I'm interested in solar. Let's get you hooked up with a solar installer. So absolutely. I think that's where we excel at, and we really help people through that and to kind of prioritize and figure out based on your timeline and your budget.
Great. Thanks, Melanie.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of any kind of good resources where folks could kind of find out what contractors are available to them? I know I've heard anecdotally that there's some areas of the state where finding contractors can be a challenge, and so I wonder if you could speak to kind of ways to figure out kind of what your contractor options are.
Yeah, so you can always go to the Efficiency of Vermont website and contractors, and there are lists that serve the Northeast Kingdom. We have 2 or 3 weatherization contractors that are currently in the Northeast Kingdom that we work with. Yeah, and there's Efficiency Vermont contractors do understand there's a certain level of professionalism. They're actually called Efficiency Excellence Network contractors, which is through Efficiency Vermont. That's a lot of efficiency e-words. But they have a certain level of professionalism that they achieve, and they also understand building science and how buildings perform. You tighten up here, and that kind of impacts over here. So they understand that and how to insulate and air seal properly. So really, that's your best source for contractors. But again, working with Heat Squad, we can help kind of mine that source too. That's where we come into play, and I call it contractormatch.com. But we actually try to match. I know, I lovingly call that. We match contractors with their skill set and, what they can do with a customer. Oh boy, they need sheet goods. Okay, he just does spray foam. But this guy over here, Eric, does great with sheet goods, and he's a light carpenter, so that's going to be great. So we really pair up a customer with the contractor, knowing the skill set of the contractor and what the job is going to entail. Where if you're looking at a phone book and picking it out, you don't really know his skill set, where we can help kind of facilitate that. But if you want a general list, I would definitely go to Efficiency Vermont's website. That's really your only source, for that kind of way to look for contractors.
Another question, what about tax credits?
So federal tax credits, I tell people go to your tax preparer or, go online to look. We don't get involved in that. We just help with the state rebates. Federal, I don't know anything. We don't go there. I just tell people talk to your tax preparer. They know it better than we do.
And then what I think will be our final question here, does anyone go into Vermont schools to inform students about all of this? So I can take an initial stab. There's a nonprofit called the Vermont Energy Education Program that focuses on kind of doing work with students in schools across the state about kind of alternative energy sources, different ways of saving energy. And so there is some engagement with schools that way. I will say that, particularly if energy committee members are parents or involved in local schools, I think that partnering with schools is always a great approach to take. I was reading a story about how in 2016, the Glover Energy Committee gave presentations to elementary school students just kind of about, what is energy? How do we help conserve it? And then committee handed out kind of efficient LED light bulbs and socket insulators on election day. Parents were contacted by their kids. And when, folks actually looked at the energy use in the town of Glover per home that year, this story says that the data from Vermont Electric Co-op showed a 1.7% decrease in Glover per home energy usage for 2016 versus 2015. So that was, 1.7% may not sound like a lot, but in terms of, per home electrical use based on a community campaign, that's a very huge, very successful number that can add up to, very large savings for folks who are involved. So, I will put in another plug here for engaging kind of with schools in particular. It can be a really kind of fun and exciting avenue for energy committees to get involved in. So we are at 1 o'clock here. I want to thank all of you so much for joining us, and to our presentations and presenters for sharing some of their expertise. Again, we'll be following up with a recording of the webinar as well as some compiled resources. And Alison, do you want to say a final note about the survey?
Yeah, I'm going to be sending it out afterwards, and I guess I could also embed some of the links that we've talked about. But again, if you could just take just a couple of minutes just to fill out that survey. It would be really important for us. We'd like to have more training resources available to our energy committees. So any insights we can get about what your needs are, we'd appreciate it.
Great. Keep a lookout for that survey soon, and I think it will take us a little bit more time to compile the resources to make sure we get them right. So maybe that'll be a follow-up. But regardless, thank you all for tuning in, for all the work you do in your communities, and please don't hesitate to reach out to any of the folks who've been involved here if we can help you kind of move projects forward and help people, save money, save energy, and stay comfortable. So thank you all again, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.